If we're trying to write the best possible essays that we can in response to 9 days, then we need to be showing a depth of knowledge about the text and the manner in which it has been constructed. We need to be able to talk about what Jordan has been able to do and the way in which she's constructed her text in order to get her ideas across. Today, a really short video that focuses on the Lily Pilly tree. And so if you've only just read the text for the first time, or perhaps you've read it a bunch of times, you will have noticed that so often these characters come back to this Lily Pilly tree. Why are we constantly hearing about it? What does it mean, the fact that it's there in the yard? And what are the ways that we can think about it so that we can discuss this text confidently and show that we understand why Jordan would have included certain things that she's done along the way? Now, there is no one correct answer when it comes to symbolism and recurring themes or motifs that exist within a story. So today this is purely my interpretation, and yours may be different, and I'd really encourage you to share yours in the comments if you feel a little bit differently about the use of the Lily Pilly tree. For me personally, Connie is obviously really closely linked to the Lily Pilly tree. We see so many examples of her being in the vicinity of it, and it is the place, of course, where Kip finds himself standing under as an old man as he considers his sister on the night where they find the photograph. But also notice the link that it has to the pregnancies between the women. We see the tree for the first time on page 76. Jack Hustaway is looking out of his window and sees Connie dancing under it. And so it's mentioned in this place for the first time where Connie is under it, feeling free and dancing, and that Jack is clearly attracted to her. When we know what happens between the two of them, the love that they share and the baby that they create, we start to see that that was the first time where we read of this Lily Pilly tree and the manner in which it might come back in the future. Some 50 years later, on page 141, Charlotte, contemplating her own pregnancy of who turns out to be Alec, is again described being under this tree. So we have this link between a niece and an aunt that she never knew. Further to that, when we talk about the things that still exist in these worlds even decades later, Charlotte looks up to the window with the curtain across it. That link back to 50 years ago and Jack looking through that window at Charlotte's aunt Connie. And so even though there isn't a physical link between the two in a way where they've ever met each other or been in the same room, there is that understanding that the tree, the thing that is rooted in the soil of the Westaway home on Rowena Parade, exists in the way that it sheltered both Connie back in the past, and that it's there and it is providing shelter for Charlotte as she finds herself in an extremely similar situation. Of course, there are so many parallels that we can talk about when it comes to the pregnancies of the two women, but we can also just show that extra depth of knowledge by pointing out the manner in which Jordan has depicted both of them underneath that tree, looking up towards Jack's window, so that we can see what was similar, and then it gives us these fantastic avenues of exploration about, okay, how do the women, even though there might be great similarities between their pregnancy and the physical area, how is it that society around them has changed so drastically? A pregnant Connie is found crying underneath the Lily Pilly tree on page 213 upon hearing of Jack's death. And so when we think about this, that it seems like the opening of their relationship with Jack looking down upon her in the courtyard, and now the ending of their relationship with her hearing about his tragic death at war, we see that it's there for the opening and the closing of this relationship. When we take a look at it a little bit further, we understand the decisions that Charlotte has made, we can take our thinking a little bit further in thinking about what it is that Jordan is pointing out to us that exists for Charlotte that didn't exist for Connie at that time. And then finally, towards the end of the novel, with the discovery of the photograph of Connie, it's really telling that Alec points out that Kip is standing under the Lily Pilly tree, feeling its bark like he's never seen a tree before. It seems quite ludicrous to his grandson, who doesn't fully appreciate what it is that's going through Kip's mind at that time. Thinking of his sister, thinking of the days leading up to her death, has taken him back to that same very tree that is still there out the back of the house at Rowena Parade. And despite all the other changes, despite all the other things that have happened in their lives and the way that society might have moved around them and attitudes might have changed, the house halfway up the hill and the Lily Pilly tree that's out the back remain a constant and a link to the past. And so when we're thinking about all of these things, that's a way in which I think you can really show a level of understanding of symbolism when it comes to things like the lily-pilly tree. It's a constant in a world of change. It's a link between the past and the future. It has these ways of coming about in the descriptions of characters when they're having to make decisions or when they're remembering their pasts. Guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say all about it. Please let me know down there in the comments what you think about this, something that perhaps you think we might have missed. We've got a range of 9 Days videos here on the channel, so jump onto those and have a look and see what else we can help you with. Until we see you next time, all the best with your studying and good luck.